Hi, friends and neighbors. Of course, a motorcycle goes by. I'm outside in Los Angeles, and oh, is it gorgeous weather. This is why people live in California. I'm sitting out here by the swimming pool, and there's some traffic going over, so you'll have to just kind of put up with that. And yes, it's coming from everywhere. Anyway, how are you doing this afternoon? I hope you are trying very hard not to get caught up in the controversy and everybody fighting and about who should go back to work and who should stay home and who's going to die and and the corona's going to win. Anyway, I think it's amazing that somebody in a state that has 13 cases of corona or has 13 deaths feels like they have to have an opinion about some other state 2,000 miles away. So one more time, I urge you all, don't get in that controversy. It just makes you angry, bring up all sorts of negative emotions in you, and that's not good for your health. It's not good for your immunity. You name it. It's not good. Not good for anybody. So instead, this is, I don't know how many days we've been in quarantine now, but I want to know how many of you are beginning to like it, beginning to like the fact that you're going at a slower pace and might not want to go back to the drama that you were involved in or the fast pace that you were in. I know that some days I feel like, oh no, it's going to quit. Then I'm going to have to actually be productive. This way I can have a good excuse for not. And nobody knows if I'm cleaning my house because they're not coming to visit. And nobody knows if I take naps or not. It's fabulous. I find there's a lot of freedom in this. I can't go flitting around like I did, but and I have to remember to go in and charge my battery, or at least go start my car and remember that, hello, does it run? Anyway, so what else do I want to talk about today? Just the beauty of this earth. Today is Earth Day. Isn't it ridiculous that we have one day that's Earth Day? Meanwhile, fracking is going on all over. People want to carve up our parks. So that's something you can get behind, is preserving our planet Earth. And we have done great damage to it, and I think that she's letting us know. I've been working on an Earth Day video that I'm going to put up a little bit later. And, I don't know how many of you know that I do shamanic work. And shamanism is something that has been around for over 100,000 years, and it's considered to be perhaps the first form of spirituality. And there was a gentleman by the name of Michael Harner who was an anthropologist from San Francisco area, and he went to study indigenous tribes and peoples, and he discovered that there was a common thread in some of the practices that they used. And they didn't speak the same languages, but there was a commonality. And so he began writing about that and brought what's known as core shamanism back to the West. And he began training people in how to do some of the practices. And I happened to be driving down Venice Boulevard one day when I heard there was an advertisement for a gathering of the shaman and the healers from all over the world. And I had moved here several years before from Texas, and all of a sudden I thought, well, I have to go. And I thought, why am I saying that? I don't even know about shamans and healers. But something inside of me said, you have to go. And then on the heels of that, I thought, well, but you have a 14-year-old Honda, and it's not going to get up the mountain. And you don't even know how to drive if there's snow. So I don't know whether you all have the shitty committee in your head, but I sure do. So nonetheless, I came home and investigated some of the people that were there, and I found a woman in Topanga. Of course, Topanga Canyon is where all the hippy-dippies live here. Well, they're everywhere, but anyway. So I contacted her, and I said, can I have an appointment with you? And she said, sure. May I dream for you? You know, you wouldn't love it unless I coughed. Anyway, she said, may I dream for you? And I thought, well, hell, I don't know. Might as well. I don't know what that means, but sure, knock yourself out. So I met her the next day, and I gave myself permission. If she was too weird, I would just politely say goodbye. Gotta go. But I met her, and I walked in, and I said, you know, I think I have work with you to do. And she looked at me, and she said, yes, you've come to us to learn how to be an elder. And I thought, I don't know about that, but all right. So she worked with me, and she said, you need to see Dina. So I thought, all right, might as well see Dina too. So next day I went to see Dina, and I walked in, and she said, prepare to be 60. And I thought, I don't want to be 60. She said, prepare to be 60. And of course I thought I had to joke, and I pushed my cheeks back and said, no, I you know, in LA, everybody has their facelift but me. And she didn't think that was funny. She looked at me very seriously, and she said, I said, prepare to be 60. I thought, okay, yes, ma'am. Well, that began a 3-year study of shamanism, and I fell in love with it. And what does that have to do with Earth Day? It has everything to do with Earth Day. Because in shamanism, the word shaman means one who sees in the dark. And it is a complete practice. It's not a religion, it's not a theory, it's a practice of how to get in touch with the other beings that live on this planet. And by that I mean the animals, the plants, you name it. And I do shamanic journey workshops, and I'll be putting some online, and if any of you want to work with me to do a shamanic journey, or please let me know, because I work with people individually doing those, and I work in groups. But the neat thing about it is that everything is alive, and everything has energy to it. So there was one day, I had been diagnosed with cancer previously, and there was one weekend that we were meeting, and we were going to study plant medicine and herbs and all that. Well, my allergies are so bad, don't wave a eucalyptus in front of me, because I'll just end up sneezing. I wasn't happy about that weekend. I thought, I don't want to learn about this. But anyway, I went, because I've been taught through another program to shut the mind up and just go. Take the butt, the mind will follow later. So I went to this weekend, and one of the things we had to do for practice was to go out on her land and find a plant or a bush, tree, a shrub to talk to. Now, those of you who think I'm crazy, now you're convinced. Anyway, so I chose this white oleander bush because when I grew up near Corpus Christi, Texas, there was a beautiful median between the highway that had oleanders on it. And I loved it. It reminded me of home. So I ended up deciding I'm going to talk to the white oleander. And on my webpage, I write a kind of a summary of what happened that weekend and what happened when I began speaking to this plant and doing so in a shamanic journey and just sitting there and listening. And what she told me to do was told me exactly what to wear for chemotherapy, told me exactly how to prepare for it, told me how to get through my fear, and I followed it to a T. And so this whole practice of shamanism is not something that you just learn who your power animal is and be able to talk about that at dinner parties. Say, oh yes, I have a beautiful black panther. Oh, I have a beautiful lion. Oh, I have a bear. I have all the ones you want. But you know, one of your power animals and helping spirits could be a roach. So get over yourself. Anyway, you can talk to and use any one of these elements, the earth, fire, wind, water. Any of those exist, of course, here in the middle world. And the animal spirits are mainly in the underworld or in the lower world. And then there are other teachers and guides that are in the upper world. It becomes a practice, and to me, it's a way that helps me come full circle to when I used to sit on that church pew with my father, and he would teach me about the mystery of the universe and the mystery of the earth, the mystery that was so much bigger than I was. And that's the way I get in touch with the God of my understanding. And so not just today is a day we need to really be loving and respecting and honoring Mother Earth. She was here long before we were. She's going to be here long after we are. She always wins. So I'm outside in the sunshine and I can't see who all's here, but I really love all of you who are following me and get something out of this. I know I sure do. And I hope you heard this over the din of living in the city. I went to see my sister one time in North Carolina. She lived in Brevard, and we had the windows open that evening. I couldn't go to sleep. It was too quiet. So I'm used to all this. Anyway, I hope you're having a good day. I love you. There's not a damn thing you can do about it. Sorry, I just hit the phone, so it probably made you. Anyway, I love you, and there's not a damn thing you can do about it. And one day, I'll tell you why I say that. Adios. See you tomorrow.